this video, I'll review the OneEntry Headless CMS system. Hey guys, John Alder here from Codemy.com, and in this video, we'll build a simple website using JavaScript, Bootstrap, HTML, and the OneEntry Headless CMS platform. If you aren't familiar with a headless CMS, it's a backend-only content management system, CMS. It basically acts as a content repository that you can access from your app using an API. So you would build out your front-end presentation layer using whatever framework you like, such as Swift, Next.js, React Native, Kotlin, regular JavaScript, and really anything else you like. Then you connect that to your content that sits on OneEntry via their API. In this video, we'll use basic JavaScript, a little Bootstrap CSS, and HTML to build out a very basic two-page website using OneEntry. I hope it'll give you an idea of some of the things you can do with OneEntry and get you excited to play around with it if you're looking for a headless CMS. OneEntry offers a 30-day free trial at the basic level to let you get in there and play around with it, and I recommend doing just that. Also, I'd like to thank the good people at OneEntry for sponsoring this video. So let's head over to our code. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor in the Git Bash terminal as always. And as always, you can find a link to the code in the pinned comment section below. So let's head over to our terminal and I'm going to make a directory. So let's go mkdir and I want to put this in the C drive and let's just call this test site. And now let's change into that directory. So cd test site. Okay, and now we're going to need a few files. So I'm going to just create them right here. We want an index.html page. We want an about.html page. And let's get an app.js page. Okay, now if we ls, we can see those files. So let's head over to our Sublime Text Editor. And let's add that to our project here. So let's add folder to project. And we want to go down to test site. There it is. And select that folder. And you can see now we have these files. So, okay, that looks good. Okay, so let's head over to OneEntry, and that's at oneentry.cloud, and go ahead and sign up for a free account. Click the sign up button right here. And you want a name. So I'm going to say John Elder, email, and then you want a phone number. And you need to use the country code. So in America, that's 1. Agree to the policies, and then we can get a code. And you have to be ready with your phone because they will call you automatically right away. A little automated thing will call you and give you the code. So if you're not ready, you have to wait till you can resend it again. So, okay, so here is your coupon code for the free plan. So go ahead and copy that. And you might want to just kind of paste this. So I'm going to head back over here and just paste this in so we have it. And then let's go ahead and create a project. And we can create a project, give it a name. I'm going to call it Codemy. And here is where you're going to create a subdomain. So I'm going to call this Codemy. It's available. We're going to need this later. So again, I'm just going to copy this and type in Codemy. And there we go. You can find it other places on the website later on, but it's just kind of handy to have it ready there. And we want this study tariff. These are the different plans. Tariff means plan, I guess. It's study, basic, standard, and premium. And you can see the different options. It's $199 if you need a lot of RAM and stuff like that. This one is just 730 megabytes of RAM. It's really just to let you get in there and play around with it and learn how to use this system. The basic plan is $29.99 a month. Standard, $49.99 a month. And these prices are fairly competitive. And that works. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. See it highlights, and then our promo code is already entered, so we didn't have to do that, but I'll go ahead and click apply, and then 100% discount for 30 days. Now, I've played around with this. Towards the end of 30 days, they'll send you a lot of emails saying, hey, there's only 7 days left. Hey, there's only 5 days left. Hey, there's only 3 days left. So you don't really have to worry about forgetting about this, but we're good to go. Now, you can add your domain name if you want. I'm just going to leave it as is with this codemy.oneentry.cloud subdomain. And that looks good. Let's go ahead and create this thing. Now, we need to confirm our email. So I'll go ahead and do that. And we can just pop this in. I got an email. They sent this link. Clicked it. Email activation was a success. All right, we're good to go. So we've confirmed. All right, so then it sends us back here and it wants us to create a new project. We've already done this, but I guess it didn't save it because we hadn't verified our account via the registration email they just sent us. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to call this Codemy. This is going to be Codemy oneentry.cloud. That works. We want the study plan. We want to apply this 30-day coupon. Okay, we're good. Now we click create. Okay, there we go. Now we've got it. Now this takes 7 minutes to spin up. There's no way to get around this. So I'm just going to go ahead and pause this video. We'll come back in 7 minutes and we'll pick it up from there. In the meantime, let's start to build out our app. So let's head back over to our Sublime Text Editor. We do not need this guy anymore, and we're probably not going to need that, but I'll leave it there for now. And I want to create a basic 2-page website just to show you the basic functionality of OneEntry. I think this will give you a good idea of exactly what this thing can do. So we're going to have an index page and an about page, and we're going to connect this with some JavaScript here. So let's head back to our web browser while this is doing its thing. And let's go to getbootstrap.com. We're going to use the Bootstrap CSS framework. So after you go to getbootstrap.com, click on Docs. And then let's just come down here and grab this basic code here. Head back over to our Sublime Text Editor and paste this in. I'm going to take this out. And actually, let's put it in the app.js file just for now as a comment. Okay, so here, let's call this OneEntry demo. So we've got an h1 tag and the body. And if we just want to, well, if I want to pull that back and save this, we can come back over to our web browser and go to our c/test site directory. And here are those 3 files. If we go to our index page, we just see this basic hello world page. So, all right, that looks good. So now, instead of just saying hello world, let's break this out here. So I want, first of all, a div with a class of container. And this is just a basic Bootstrap div that kind of moves everything over off the side of the screen a little bit. We're going to put our stuff there, and maybe we'll put a line break there. Now inside of here, we want a couple of things. We want an h1 tag, and we want to give this an ID of title. And we're going to use this with JavaScript to grab the title of our page from OneEntry. And this will show you how to start to pull content from OneEntry onto your page. And we also want, let's call it a div with an ID of text. And again, this text we're going to pull straight off the OneEntry CMS system. So go ahead and save this. We don't really have anything else going on this page right now. But we're also going to need to call our JavaScript script. So let's do a script tag. Let's give this an src of app.js. And we can close that script. Now, this app.js, we don't have anything in there, but that's fine for now. So if we save this and come back over to our browser, we're not going to see anything because we got rid of that hello world. But let's go back to Get Bootstrap, click on Docs again, and let's grab a quick navbar. We can go down here to navbar, and let's just grab this guy. I'll copy this. And right under our body tag, let's just paste all that in. So if we save this, now if we head back to our site and click reload, we've got this navbar. Now let's play around with this navbar a little bit. We've got some time to waste. We've got 7 minutes. So I'm going to come up here to the top of the navbar. And instead of it saying navbar, let's have it say John Elder. And we're going to point this to index.html. That's the name of this page. And instead of BG body tertiary, let's also add some stuff here. I kind of like having a dark navbar. So we can add this just by going navbar -dark and also BG-dark. If we save this, head back over here, hit reload. No. We also then have to take off the BG body tertiary. Okay, now if we save this and head back over here, reload, boom, we've got this. Let's get rid of some of these links and this search bar. I want 2 links here. I want a homepage link and an about us link. So let's come down here, and here it says home. Actually, let's look at it again. We'll keep this link. We'll get rid of all the rest of them. So that's going to be this guy. So I can take out that. This link will change to home, and we'll point it to index.html. And let's copy this whole li, and let's add another one. And we'll point this one to about.html, and we'll have it say about. The rest of this stuff we can get rid of. So I'll click on this li, and here's the closing li tag, so I can get rid of that. This disabled link, same thing. I can click on the LI. Here's the closing LI, so I can get rid of that. Go. And then there's this form with the search thing. We don't really need that. We'll get rid of that. Okay, so basic little nav bar. Let's save this, head back over here, and hit reload. So we've got our basic setup here. We've got our home page and our about page. The about page doesn't exist yet, so let's just kind of copy this whole thing and paste it into the about page. Save it. Now we can click back and forth between our home and about. Now we've got our layout, right? We've got our front end. We're using the framework we like, and we've got 2 pages. Now we just need content, right? Now, normally you would put your content in there, but we want to abstract this away to a headless CMS, which is where OneEntry comes into play. So we come back here and we click reload, and it says now that this is working. So if we click on this, we can see all the good things, and we're good to go. In order to access this, we click on access, and we can see here's that URL that we copied, right? So here we can click this to open it. Now we're gonna have to log in. And here's the OneEntry system. Here is sort of the back-end portal that we're gonna use. And remember, it's just whatever your project is, .oneentry.cloud. So, okay, there's all kinds of stuff here. And what we wanna do is come over here to content management. And here we can start building out pages, right? So we have 2 pages. So let's go ahead and create a page. We have different options. We can have catalog pages for like e-commerce sites and things. We can have, products. Here I just want for a usual page. And then let's create a page title. And I'm going to call this, let's call this my OneEntry homepage. Right? And now here's a page URL. I'm going to call this index because this is going to be for our index page. And we want the menu item. So again, I'm just going to call it the same thing, index. So here is where we've got this markdown editor. We can have any content that we want. And it's really nice, really intuitive. We can, make things bold. We can do different, list type things. We can indent different fonts, whatever we want, different sizes. So maybe make this there. Welcome. Or, I don't know, homepage. Right? I don't know. And we can drag and drop images in here too, right? So this works with Markdown. It works with text. You can use HTML on this thing. It's really nice. So let's just add a picture. Me and Aspen. There we go. And boom, there it is. And then here, isn't this cool? I don't just play around with this. I don't want to get into this in detail. You can play around with this thing. It's a basic Markdown editor. I'm sure you've seen before. And in order to make sure this all gets saved, every time you do something in any of these fields, including this one, just click out of it. So if we just sort of click right here, it saved it. That looks good. So, all right, we can go back here and we see my OneEntry homepage for usual page. We can hide it. We can edit it. We can delete it. We can copy it. Blocks and forms, we won't get into that. If I click this, bring it back up. There it is again. Everything looks good. So one thing you're going to need to know is this index, because we're going to have to use that to access it via the API later. This is the page URL. That's how we're going to identify it and grab it and pull it into our app. This page title, my OneEntry homepage, that will be, we go back to our code. Remember, we've got this title tag that'll get put into there. The text tag that we put there, that will be all of this markdown stuff. This whole editor will get smushed into that field there. Okay, so we've got one page. Now let's go ahead and create a second page. And I'm going to say about me, ... Page URL, let's make this about the menu item. We won't get into menus, but you can play around with that. Very cool stuff there. And here, let's go to my actual johnelder.com website, and let's just kind of grab some text here, some about me stuff, whatever. Come back here and paste this in. It notices, which is very cool, hey, it looked like that was HTML. Do you want to keep the HTML, or do you want to insert it as text? Do you want to insert it as only text, or do you want to cancel? Let's keep this to keep the formatting, and there we go. That looks good. We forgot to choose a type. We want this for usual page. All right, now we've got this stuff. We've got our content abstracted away on this CMS, this headless CMS. How do we access it? How do we pull it into our app? Well, let's give it a try. Let's head back over to our code. And now we need to write some code in our app.js. Now, once we write this code, we can reuse it, as you'll see in a second. But for now, let's start out by, we don't need this anymore. First, let's create some things here. We've got a title, and that's going to be document dot, and this is just pure JavaScript, right? We've got a query selector. What query selector do we want? Well, we want that title. We can copy this and paste it again. The other one we had was text, and that's going to be our text selector. And those two things, the title and a text, that's just, remember at the beginning here, we created this ID of title and an ID of text. So call it whatever you want. You don't have to call it title and text, but anytime you want to save something from the CMS and put it onto your page, you would do it like this. It's just sort of that easy, right? So here, let's come down here and let's go, let's create a get data function. And we want to make this asynchronous because when we call this, we want to asynchronously go grab it via the API and pull it back in, right? So I can do it like this, just basic JavaScript, and this is going to be a function. And here, let's create a try except block, right? In case there's an error, in case it can't connect to the API or something. So let's go const response. This is going to be the response from the API. We want to await, and let's fetch that stuff. What do we want to fetch? Well, first we need HTTPS. I shouldn't have deleted. It's our URL, right? So this is codemy.1entry.cloud/API/content/pages/URL/ let's grab our index page. Now, how we're getting this API/content/pages/URL/index is interesting. And while I'm at it, let me put a comma here because we're going to need that. And let's head back over to the browser here. And if we go back to the original OneEntry portal system where we have our project, you can come over to this API section. And here's all the different sort of API endpoints, I guess you would call them. You see there's admin stuff, attribute sets, blocks, file uploading, forms, form data, general types, locales. It's like English language and things like that. Markers, menus, orders, order statuses, all kinds of stuff you could do with this. I definitely recommend getting in here and playing around with all of this because it's a lot of fun. Order products, pages, products, product statuses, system, templates, template previews, users, and user groups. So we want, let's see, pages, right? Because we've got a couple of pages here. And here are the API endpoints. You can get API/content/pages/root. And if you click on one of these, it sort of gives you code stuff and some description. So you can read through here and learn all about these different things. Pages catalog, we want content/pages/URL/ and then whatever the URL is. So again, that's API content pages URL/ the URL. And so we've got API content pages URL, and then the URL of index, which if we go back over to the system here, that's just in content management. We've got these two pages. This one is our home page. If we click on it, we set the page URL as index. That's that URL. So if we called this Bobo, right, we would call URL/Bob. We called it index, so it's URL/index. So again, that's just, API content pages URL/index. So, okay, we've designated that. We want to set the method. So how do we want to get this stuff? We want to get it. Methods are generally get or post. Posts are more like for forms. When you're submitting, you're posting a form. We're not posting anything. We're just getting whatever is on that page. And here we need to define our headers. And this is going to be an x/app/token. And then here we need an API token. And at the end of this, we're going to need a comma. So to get the token, we head back over again to this portal system here, not this main one when you log in, but your project portal, and come down here to settings. And here we want app tokens. And then we can just generate an app token. And we can call our app anything we want. I'm just going to call it my app, right? And we just create a token. And boom, it was successfully created. There it is. Now we can show it. And here it is. We want to copy it. It's more than just this little thing. It's very long, so we need to We don't want to copy this. We want to click the copy button right here and head back over here and paste it in. And this is the token. You can see it's quite long, right? Your basic API token. Anytime you have an API, you need to connect to it somehow. There's usually some sort of security token. So, all right, there we go. Then we need a comma here. And that looks good. Now, after this parentheses here, we need a few more things. So let's go const data equals await. And we want the response.json. It's going to return some JSON response. And what do we've got? We've got a couple of things here. We've got our title. So that's inner HTML. And it's just JavaScript stuff, you know. So data dot. Now here we want the localize infos dot en underscore us dot title. And this is, we want this in the, localized language of English, right? And for this guy, it's going to be text dot inner HTML equals same thing, data dot localize dot infos dot en underscore us dot, and here we want the HTML content, right? This is just dot title and this is HTML content because it kind of makes sense, right? We come back over here and we click on content management. We go to this home page here. This is the dot title. This stuff is HTML content, right? This, whatever's in the markup editor here, that's going to be HTML most likely. Back here, it's HTML content, and the title is just dot title. So, okay, that looks good. Give us some space here, and then we want to console.log out the data just in case we need to look at the JavaScript console to see if there's a problem or something. And again, speaking of problems, we want to catch any errors there are. And if there are errors, we want to console.log out the error. And the console log, if you're not familiar with JavaScript, if we come back over to our page here, where are we at? Right here. And we right click and click inspect. We can come down here to the console. And this is the console. So if there's an error, it will print it out here and we can see what's going on. And that's handy. So, okay, that looks good. So then we close this guy, close this guy. Now all we need to do is call this function. And to call the function, let's say call the function. We just call get data because that's the name of the function. And that should work. So, okay, let's go ahead and save this. Moment of truth. Let's head back over here and hit reload. Go to the home page and boom, my OneEntry homepage. And we don't have a picture of Aspen. So I would go to inspect, click on console. Data.localize is undefined. So I must have misspelled something. What did I misspell? Localize. Oh, localize.infos. This is localize infos. See how we did that? We used the console to see what the error was. Very useful. Maybe I did that on purpose. Did not. Right. So anyway, let's come back over here. Hit reload. Now, boom, homepage. Isn't this cool? Picture of Aspen, all it abstracted. It's online. Now, this page obviously isn't online. This is on our local computer, but our content is, and that is very cool. So here it says homepage because if we head back over here, that's what we typed in right there. If we wanted to get rid of that, we could just sort of do that. Click out of here. You can see it sort of grays out and boom, it's been saved. If we head back over here and hit reload, that homepage is gone and very cool. So we could play around with this if we wanted. Even just moving it down. Right? Now if we come back over here and hit reload, it's been moved down. It does all the stuff. That's so cool. Okay, so we've got one page. What about our about page? We click back over here to the about page and the same thing happens. So that's because our about page we just copied and pasted. So instead of pointing this to that same app file, what we could do just to mix things up, we could call a script tag and then close the script tag. Now you could abstract this away to another JavaScript file, but I'm just going to copy this whole thing and paste it in our about page itself, just to give you a little different sort of thing. Now here we want a different API endpoint, right? We don't want pages/URL/index. we want /about. Change that one little change, head back over here, go to our about page, and now we have all that about information that we copied from this guy right here, which is, if we go back to content management, click on our about page, all of this stuff. So, I mean, we can, copy this image, come back over here, and let's see, insert a table maybe. I don't know, I'm just going to right click or Control V to paste that in there. And then all this stuff gets added. Let's see, how crazy can we go here if we add this to a table? Oh, that's not really what we wanted. I don't know. Play around with this yourself. For now, I'm just going to bop this down and put it underneath it. Save this. It's a good picture. Now, if we come back over here and hit reload, we've got this picture right there. And again, you're going to want to play around with the formatting and stuff, but I'll leave all that to you. But very cool, very easy. And just like that, we've got an entire website built. It's a basic website. It's a simple website, but 2 pages, navigation, and all of the content has been abstracted away to our headless CMS. And changing it is just as easy as coming back over here and making a change. So very, very cool. All kinds of stuff you could do with this. We've just scratched the surface. The video is getting pretty long, so we're going to stop here. But I definitely recommend coming in here, playing around with this. You can add menus, you can do forms, you can do all kinds of stuff with this. It's very fun. And like I said, they have a free tier for 30 days. Nothing to risk. Go in there, play around with it, see if you like it. If you're into headless CMSs, definitely give this a try. If headless CMSs are not your thing, maybe give it a try anyway, just to see if you might like it. So again, the address is oneentry.cloud. Go check it out. Sign up for your free account. You have 30 days to play around with it, and it's a lot of fun. So my name is John Elder from Codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.